Hello, I'm Robin Vincent and welcome to Molten Music Monthly November 15, the Surface Special. It is teeming it down outside, so welcome to the safety and shelter of my kitchen. This month we're focusing on the brand new Microsoft Surface Pro 4 and Surface Book. But we've also got a surprise touchy-feely update from Bitwig. We've got a bit of a box of tricks from Imogen Heap. And back at Molten HQ we've got a brand new range of Skylake-based desktop and laptop audio PCs. So let's get to it!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Microsoft Windows 10 Devices Briefing.
I was there at the Microsoft device launch party back on October the 6th, and I was able to handle the new Surface Pro 4 and the Surface Book. My Surface Pro Audio blog has been inundated with requests for what I think about the new Surfaces. Are they going to be any good for music? Which is the best one to get? That kind of thing. But unfortunately, at the time of writing, neither of them have actually been released into the wild in the UK. They've just arrived on the streets in the US. And I haven't been offered a review model. So I can only give you my impression of them based on a quick feel and what we know so far. The Surface Pro 4 is an awesome upgrade to the Surface Pro 3. It's basically the same size and shape. It has a slightly larger screen, a better keyboard, a better pen, and of course a better processor. Retaining the size, the kickstand, the layout of the keyboard and the functionality I feel is really important, and somehow Microsoft have managed to enhance and improve upon the Surface Pro 3 without completely screwing it up. Great job! I'm very pleased. I was able to speak at length to an engineer at the event all about the cooling and throttling problems with the Surface Pro 3. They hated it. They absolutely hated seeing great big fans stuck on the back so that people could get decent frame rates in games and things like that. So heating and cooling and the thermal design of the Surface Pro 4 is absolutely fundamental to how they approach the whole thing. The guy told me that the cooling came first. They designed that first, and everything else, the motherboard and the components and the other things that went inside, were built around the heat pipes. Microsoft have used two heat pipes to move the heat to two different places to maximize dissipation. One of them is passive, it's just a large block of copper, if you like, that radiates the heat out. And the other one is active, based on a hybrid fan arrangement on the back that kicks in to keep that cool. This should have the dual result of keeping the heat under control and also preventing the fan from coming on as often. The Surface Pro 3 does tend to get a little bit trigger happy on the fan, and it can come on for almost absolutely no reason whatsoever. The engineer assured me that with the Surface Pro 4 there would be no throttling, but we're not really going to know that for sure until I can load it up with plugins and see how well it goes. None of the reviews I've seen or read so far have had anything to say about how well the Surface Pro 4 copes with high CPU loads, what the noise is like, what the heat is like. It's all so far seems to be about sort of specs and pricing and all the stuff that you can just read straight off their website. Hopefully I can do something about that when I finally get my hands on one. For those of you who are interested in the specs, we have a choice between a Core M3 6Y30 900 MHz with an HD 515 graphics built in. This is totally passively cooled, which is flipping awesome, but probably underpowered for music production. In the middle you get the Core i5 6300U 2.4 GHz with HD 520 graphics. That's probably the sweet spot, the best value for money. And then at the top you've got the Core i7 6650U 2.2 GHz with an RS 540 graphics. So it's got a faster turbo speed but a slower stock speed. I don't really understand that, to be honest. But it's the i5 and the i7 that interest me. And with these processors, there's actually very little in it. The i7 does have a larger cache and a slightly higher turbo speed. And it also has a better quality graphics engine. But even so, the i5 can still cope with 4K screens. And graphics is not a high priority for music production. So the i5, like with the Surface Pro 3, that seems to be the sweet spot for price and performance. And with the i7, you're only going to really get a little bit more. In the UK, prices start at $749 for the Core M, $849 or $1079 for the i5, which is available in mid-November in the UK. and $12.99 to $17.99 for the i7, which isn't available until the middle of December. The pen is included, which is awesome, but the type cover, of course, isn't, and that'll set you back another $109.99. And I imagine you wouldn't get it without it, to be honest. That'd be bonkers. So, personally, for me, if I could afford one, I would go for the i5, 8GB, 256GB of SSD drive. The one slap bang in the middle with the type cover, which makes a total of 1188.99. Delivery is free. Yay! Obviously, the i7 would be better. It is a little bit faster. You can get a 512GB SSD drive inside. And if they've actually kept those thermals under control, then it could be really, really awesome. But of course, it's the Surface Book that has stolen all the attention. That's what everyone is focusing on. That's what gave us the really big wow factor. Surface Pro 4, oh yeah, it's nice upgrade. Yeah, okay, good job. Surface Book, wow, pizzazz. And things like that. So the Surface Book looks like a flipping amazing laptop. And the key term here is laptop. It's a laptop. It's a foldy, clam-shaped, sitting on your lap, this kind of thing, laptop. It's a laptop. This form factor, this is what the sort of thing, this is not one, but this is the sort of thing it is, a laptop. Okay, got that? Got that laptop? Good. So, if you want a laptop, then the Surface Book is surely the best thing to get. It has a bigger screen than the Surface Pro 4. The i7 processor goes up to slightly higher gigahertz levels. And of course, there's an option for a dedicated NVIDIA graphics engine in the base. The screen comes off and you can turn it around, put it back on, slap it back down, that kind of thing. Very versatile, and it has a very cool kind of hinge thing that people keep getting distracted by. But ultimately, it just looks fabulous. Unfortunately, there's currently no release date in the UK at all, and so no pricing, but we can make a kind of a guess, and I reckon it will probably start at $12.99 for the basic i5 model with no discrete graphics in it, and perhaps going up to $26.99 for the top-end i7 with a 1TB of storage, 16GB of RAM, and the NVIDIA discrete graphics. Compare that to the Apple MacBook Pro, that with a slightly slower processor and less storage, that actually goes for $19.99. So the Surface Book is fairly expensive. So the question is, which should you get? Which should I get? Which should everybody get? Don't know. We don't know which to get. Well, a year ago, when I decided to pick up a Surface Pro 3 for music production and live performance, I chose it precisely because it wasn't a laptop. I chose it because it was different, because the focus was on touch, was on the digital pen, and that actually required a different form factor. Something designed to cope with touching and drawing and what that meant. So the Surface Pro 4 follows that line of reasoning perfectly. And from what I can tell, it just gives us more and better. The Surface Book, on the other hand, is a laptop. And so, actually, for me, it's not best suited to a multi-touch live performance environment. Now, I'm aware that my friends at Microsoft and pretty much everybody else in the world is raving on about the Surface Book for music production. It's everywhere. Videos, blogs, stuff about it. Everyone go, wow, this is for music production. Isn't that awesome? How powerful it is. How fantastic it is. Oh yeah, there is this Surface Pro 4 as well. But it's the Surface Book is the thing that you need. I mean, you know, a close personal friend of mine, Thavius Beck, did a massive 4-hour performance on a Surface Book using Bitwig at the Microsoft after-show party. So I am not saying that the Surface Book is no good for musicians. What I am saying is that I believe the Surface Pro 4 is the better choice. Is that controversial? Let me try to demonstrate this. So having got rid of the keyboard with the Surface Pro, the screen is right there. It's front and center, and it completely resists my touch. The kickstand supports the screen, and I can bang out drums to my heart's content. So So I can happily draw on the screen and the screen stays there. It's not going anywhere. It resists my touch, and I can put it down at a different angle and it still resists my touch, or I can put it up nice and high and it still resists. Whop, 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 whop. It's designed for this. It's designed for this, for me to touch it, for me to lean on it, for me to draw on it. It's designed for this. Now, let's instead try a laptop. Now, this obviously isn't a Surface Book. Obviously, it's just a laptop, because I don't have a Surface Book. No one would give me one. But I have handled one in real life, and I know that it's lighter and probably more flimsy than this, actually, but made of better materials and all that kind of thing. Yeah, but it's flimsy. But look what happens when I touch the screen. It bounces. It moves. So if I'm trying to use a pen, for instance, to draw on it, you know, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to overemphasize it, but it wobbles all the time. If I'm going to go and pinch and zoom, it's going to push back, and this is going to lift up. If you look at the videos online of Thavius Beck using it, he's only ever touching the screen when he has an arm placed on the base so that it doesn't tip up. Ah, you say, well, then you can take the screen off and turn it around. Yes, you can. So let's imagine I'm taking the screen off, I'm turning it around, so it's now in this form factor. Awesome. The screen is forward, the keyboard is no longer in the way, and when I press on it, it just shuts. So that's no good at all. Ah, you say, but now it's in its flat orientation. Yes, I can use it when it's flat and the screen is here, and I can tap on it and I can mess about and I can draw on it. So for drawing, for sketching, for working, awesome. For live performance, you actually want it up here because you want to be up and you want to be doing stuff on it. So you want it in this orientation, which is not going to work for touch, or you want it in this orientation, which is great for viewing and doing old school laptop stuff. But when you come to touch the screen, it's going to go away from you and wobble. But as I say, that does not mean that the Surface Book isn't any good for music performance. Of course it is. Everyone's been using laptops for years. There's a whole stack of people out there using MacBook Pros who are, of course, having a wonderful time. And you can do that with the Surface Book. But for me, what's important about this whole journey, the whole Surface ecosystem, is the touch and using touch and developing touch in performance and new ways of making music on a PC in Windows. And the Surface Book, for me, doesn't really accomplish that. It's a laptop, an awesome flipping laptop, but it works in the laptop paradigm. Keyboard, trackpad, great, fantastic, but touch the screen and it's just not as good as the Surface Pro 4. Have I laboured that enough? Yeah, I kind of think so. Of course you can take the screen off, which is an awesome thing, and then you could perhaps just use the screen by itself, but then it doesn't have a kickstand. And the other problem is this has no ports. So you pull the screen off, and if you're making music, you've probably got an audio interface plugged into here, a MIDI keyboard plugged into there, a library drive plugged in with all your sounds on and stuff. So when you take the screen off, you lose all of those things instantly. So where's your sound going to come out of? Where are you going to put your Cubase dongle? So the removableness of the screen for music production is not that helpful, unless you're just going away, plugging in a pair of headphones to use the onboard sound, and you want to just tap away and make some music in tablet form. That's completely valid. That's completely cool. But with the Surface Pro 3 and Surface Pro 4, I've got my little USB socket. So I can plug my dongle in there. So I can still use Cubase and Pro Tools and carry it around as a tablet or as kind of a laptop or whatever I like, because it's designed for it. But surely the Surface Book is more powerful. Yes, by a whisker if you buy the absolute top whack model. If you buy the i5, then the processing power is identical to the Surface Pro 4. Identical, same processor. Ah, but it has the NVIDIA graphics, which means nothing if you're running Pro Tools or Ableton or Bitwig or any other piece of music software. It doesn't require NVIDIA discrete graphics. It's of no advantage whatsoever. So obviously, if you want a laptop, get the Surface Book. If you want something for music performance and touching and creativity, then I would recommend the Surface Pro 4. So let me know what you think in the comments, or get in touch, Twitter, all that kind of thing. Let me know. I'm interested in what you feel about these things. Last month I mentioned how Bitwig had squeezed out version 1.2 without all of the lovely touchy stuff that they were showing at NAMM. Well, within a month they've released version 1.3 to coincide with the release of the Surface Pro 4 and Surface Book, and this includes all of the touchy-feely stuff. Hooray! Well, I've spent the last week writing a massive in-depth review of Bitwig 1.3, which should be available any time now on the website as soon as I can just get that bugger finished, and I think you'll find it very interesting. Nobody else has really approached touch in such a creative and innovative way, and I've been thoroughly enjoying getting to know it. Have a look in the description below for a link to the review. You knew we made computers, right? Molten Music Technology builds computers for musicians, studios, live performance, and people just like you. From the home studio tinkerer to the multi-platform networked studio producer, content creators and composers, we've got a machine for you. We've just revamped our entire range of systems with the new Intel Skylake technology, and it's given them about a 30% boost over the previous generation. We have our Z series of awesome desktop i5 and i7 computers, from the Mini through to the totally silent and up to the Z Overdrive powerhouse of 64 gigs of RAM and masses of processing power. We've got some all new laptops, the Performer from $599, the Performer Pro, which uses desktop processing technology, from $1299. All our systems are designed and built for music production. They are tweaked, they are quiet, some of them are silent, and they are all extremely powerful and capable of running music production software and audio hardware. So if you're in the market for a reliable and rock-solid platform for making music, then give us a call. Coolest Thing of the Month by the coolest lady in any creative environment. It's a collection of instruments for contact by Sonic Couture in collaboration with Imogen Heap. These are Imogen sounds, designed by her, shaped by her for her own music and live performance, and I just love the fact that these have been made available to the rest of us mere mortals. It's got beats, pops, slaps, tickles, marimbas, vibraphones, shruti boxes, clangs and gongs and twings and ooh and wobble wobble wobbles and stuff. In fact, there's 30 gigs of stuff. And they've also in there created some performance modules, some effects and sort of synthesis stuff. Just an awesome, as they say, box of tricks. I think it's inspirational in use, but it also, just watching the video, inspires me to do more with sound design, to do more recording of things and stuff, and to use that in my own music. She is a total inspiration. Right, this one I did get to see at the cinema, Ridley Scott's The Martian, starring Matt Damon. I'd read Andy Weir's book about a month before, and it took me about 2 or 3 days because I just couldn't put the thing down. I think once you get past that first chapter, if you can get over that initial kind of, oh, I'm not sure whether I'm into this or not, then it takes you on this adventure where you're just with him, with every breath, with every step that he takes along this amazing book. It's an astonishing read. It's tense, it's funny, it's adventurous and exciting and just mesmerising, really. And to put that on screen, I imagine, is enormously difficult. So if you have read the book, you will probably find the film just slightly disappointing, because there's no way they could have fitted everything into that couple of hours on screen. It should have been a TV series. It should have been 24 episodes at an hour each, and then perhaps they could have done it justice. But anyway, what we have and what appeared on the screen was pretty darn awesome. Much of the humour and the humanity of the book is retained. The science, not so much, is there and everybody talks about it, but it's nowhere near as in-depth or involving or as enlightening as it is in the book. It's just kind of something that happens along the way. The look of the film, the look of Mars, the habitat of the rovers is just brilliant. I mean, some of it must be CGI, but it never at any point felt anything other than real. It was gorgeous and seamless. Matt was obviously the star and very easy to watch, but the supporting cast also brought a lot to the film. I think they expressed the agony and the determination to try to rescue this man from Mars. It was, of course, a massive advert for NASA, but also for Microsoft, because there was a ton of Surface Pro 3s kind of just scattered liberally around the control centres and up in space and turning up in all sorts of places. And it's very comforting to know that this kind of form factor is still going to exist in the not too distant future. The music I thought was excellent by English composer Harry Gregson Williams. It had some echoes of Aliens in it, and at one point I half expected a spaceship full of Marines to sort of loom into view. But otherwise, the sort of soundscapes and weird otherworldliness of the electronic music I thought was just brilliant, and it stood out. I'm not one of these people who thinks that music should really not be heard, should be in the background, and if you hear it then there must be something wrong. I think that's rubbish. I think music should stand out. It should bring something to the party, and I think it really did. There was a bunch of sort of strings coming in at various points to add drama, which I thought was actually a shame and out of place, funnily enough. I preferred the bings and the noises and the chugging and the kind of slight weirdness that the main score had. I found that far more interesting. And I also enjoy the fact that the composer also wrote the music for the Tigger movie. That'll do for now. Next month I'll be putting together a bit of a Christmas wish list for possible stocking fillers from the world of computer music, so watch out for that. My hopes of getting a Surface Pro 4 out of Microsoft are slowly fading away, and so the idea of starting a Kickstarter campaign to raise funds to buy one is actually becoming a bit more of a serious proposition. So I'll keep you updated on that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please follow me on Twitter, come and talk to me on Facebook, or email me, whatever you like. And in the meantime, I'm going to leave you with the coolest little synth that Roland have ever produced. Go make some tunes.